coach from Mobile University down in Mobile, Alabama, who said, hey, you know, I sensed that things weren't right here. Bomb-sniffing dogs, snipers on top of buildings, and then the announcement that came out, we're only running a drill. Nobody wants to talk to this guy? Nobody's got any... If your house was robbed, and I said, hey, wait a minute, before the police even got here, I noticed X, Y, and Z.
Who did this? Who was noticing?
Wouldn't you want the police to talk to me?
Tell me the websites. I got to go to this place.
It's called InfoWars.com.
Okay. All right. And
Dino, you said you've got questions about the planning of the attack and about the investigation, and you said the investigation is coming from the authorities.
Right.
Who should it be coming from?
Well, I mean, listen, the only thing we've been told is that the words from the alleged terrorists in this case are coming from a hospital room as told to us by the FBI, the police, so on and so forth. So, I mean, I guess at some point there will be, you know, some substantive reporting done.
Right.
And at that point, perhaps we'll know more. I hope so, anyway.
All right. Also, you brought up the University of Alabama track coach, Alistair Stevenson, who was running the marathon and says he heard the Boston police say it's just a drill.
Right.
Do you find it odd that most of the people who are in the vicinity of the blast don't report any of that?
Do I?
Yeah. Do you find it odd? Every story I could find that mentioned this whole it's a drill thing,
right.
InfoWars, Daily Paul,
right.
Natural News, my favorite,
right.
They all cited this guy as their source.
Well, what I want to know is why was this man allowed to leave Boston the next day? If he saw things that looked out of kilter, that were askew, that certainly were red flags, that certainly at the very least...
Or false flags.
Or at the very least planted a seed of doubt in someone's mind.
Right.
I certainly would have thought that the authorities would have wanted to vet completely before they let him go back to Mobile, Alabama.
Maybe, A, he's a crackpot.
Well, I mean,
and maybe B, I guess they can always call Mobile, Alabama.
Well, I think it's unfair of you to call him a crackpot. Why would you call him a crackpot?
Could I say something?
Because there was just hang on. Because there were thousands, tens of thousands, or whatever people there. This one guy is going around saying
this is a guy
the police said this, the police said that.
This is a guy that's gone to multiple marathons. He's run marathons all over the world.
Right.
So if he's a crackpot, I guess he's seen things that have been, you know, not so right.
He's just
virtually every other marathon.
He's a crackpot that is very healthy and has great cardiovascular,
very low body fat ratio.
Also, on your description of it, Andy, he may not be a crackpot. Maybe he did hear this is just a drill. Maybe the cop was wrong, but it wasn't a drill.
Right.
So what else does he have to add here?
Look, it has to be said that in all of this stuff, and this is the stuff that gives legs to silly conspiracy theories, is the initial reporting after a tragedy. Go back to the week after 9/11, and I'm talking about mainstream organizations and the things that they got wrong. You know, and if this investigation shouldn't be carried out by the authorities, we see how good of a job it was when it was being crowdsourced this week.
The same thing happened.
Where they were fingering people that were not, you know, were just runners.
No, and look, the same thing happened at Sandy Hook. You had people say, oh, there was a guy in the woods arrested, and then that led to all kinds of conspiracy theories.
Naked man in Watertown, etc.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff does happen, absolutely.
Okay. So we're just supposed to take at face value everything we're told and not ask questions ever. Ever.
No,
so asking questions,
I don't think anybody
or coming up with some theories or exploring it from different angles, this is wrong how?
No, you can. Of course, it's okay to ask questions, but when the theories that are being spouted, I mean, there are theories that are good to get out there, and then there are theories that are, you know.
I say, as long as the theory fits within the parameters of the controlled environment of which the news is coming out of, as long as that's okay.
As long as the theory fits in the environment of not being insane.
And anything outside of the official description, that's insane.
Okay, Andy, I'm bored. Come to me.
For example, fire can melt steel.
Andy, you know what the thing is here? Are you an ombudsman or are you ombuds sheep?
Well,
are you an ombuds sheep?
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that.
I think you're a sheep.